Today we are starting with the use case, sprint execution. The sprint execution starts at the point where user stories have been assigned to releases and sprints and teams. Within the user story, tasks have been defined, and those tasks have been assigned to specific developers or QA engineers. At this point in time, a developer will start working on the actual code artifact that completes the task. And so we start this use case in a development integration, or IDE. The development IDE that we're using for this demo is Eclipse. And as a developer, this is where I sit and work on my code. As stated in the previous recording, developers could go in, and QA engineers can go into Agile Manager and look at the user stories and tasks they've been assigned. In addition to going into Agile Manager, they can set up views or filters that actually pull down the tasks with user stories. This view here lists all of the tasks and user stories. I could set up a filter so that only the ones assigned would be downloaded. And so when I do that, I can actually access the same information that I could see in Agile Manager. I can see the information about it, can see what it's due, the story points, the estimates, I can see the description, and so forth. So I have all the information I need to actually start developing. And so I go in and actually develop what needs to happen. And after I'm done, I save my efforts. When I go to commit them, to associate these development efforts back to the user story, I enter a commit comment, and this is very important. This commit comment automatically ties to the user story to that code artifact. And when I click OK and come back into Agile Manager, I can go into that user story. If you remember, I committed it against user story 187. And I can look at the development activity against it. And so you can see right here today, we have one change set that has been committed. And I can actually go in and take a look at the difference between what it was versus what has been changed. I can see who committed it. I can see about, how long it took. I can go into the details here. Shows me how many files were changed. And basically who it was assigned to and who did it. I can access that information from the user story. I can also access that information from a top-down approach from the source code tab. The source code tab gives us a couple different views. I can look at change impact. So when as developers commit code, I can see immediately what's been changing. If you notice, basically I can go in to the user story from a change impact point of view and see how many lines of code has been changed. I can go into who did what, when, and I can start analyzing the development effort from kind of a complexity perspective and determine where we are from an Agile management point of view. I can go into a change log view as well. And this actually shows us both change sets coming from source code and build. And so to show you the build information, if I move into my build environment and actually go in and do a build, so I'm going to go ahead and do a build now. And this goes out and it connects to Subversion and should pull in that change, those couple lines that I edited. So you can see here that we just did it today. And it basically shows you I edited a couple of user stories, or I tied a couple of user stories to some different changes. I did about 3 different things. But specifically the one we did today,